We are back. We are back. We are back. So currently, like I said, today is Friday, May 2nd. Currently, I'm looking at this position right here on US 30. Entry, like I said, entry would be based off this candle right here. If we can get a closure above this resistance line, off this resistance. Okay, I'm not even typing anything. Off this resistance right here, I feel slightly entering off a buy position. But until then, not only that, it's based off this counter trend line. So we did kind of look. I was actually going to look to enter based off this candle here. If we would have closed above, not only are we just looking for an M15 closure above this resistance here, which is this lower high, right? It would be a pretty risky move based off, like I said, we want to see the break, right? I want to see a break of resistance. That's for one. Based off this time frame. Why based off the M15? Because again, we have a higher low, higher high, higher low. So we can actually see, obviously this is a bullish trend. This is bullish trend to get back into this here, right? Just to continue it. All I need is a broken level of resistance, right? That's all I really need again. So this lower high is not part of an uptrend. Obviously, an uptrend is higher low, higher high, higher low. So there is a lower high point. So like again, at this point in time, I would need to see this break based off the M15. Based off the M5, it's this level of resistance here as well, as you guys can see. So now we are kind of making like a head and shoulder type of pattern here. Boom, is like the then. Boom, kind of head, right? And this is kind of the right shoulder. It's a potential push down, right? At the end of the day, I'm not really interested in sells. As you can see, we are pushing down, right? But I would not be interested in sells just because. So let's just go over this overall. Based off the H1, H4, and even daily, right? So let's just start off the daily. Based off the daily time frame, we did just make this higher low, higher high, right? So we did make this big bullish trend right here after we broke this lower high point right here. This was that resistance level here that we broke. So once we broke that, we became higher low. So that higher low point here. So that higher high point here, right? Actually, I left this low resistance on just because again we could see this actually potentially push down to here and then still kind of continue up, right? Potential. So that's why I left that resistance still there. Based off H4, right? So now we're gonna break this down based off the H4. We're also still bullish, right? We have this higher low point, we have this higher high point right here. So we're still bullish based off the daily H4. This is that higher low point here. And then we have a nice big bullish candle here, right? Breaking this down on the H1 time frame, we have this higher low, we have this higher high, which is this H4 candle right here. That's that candle. So again, based off H1, we're still bullish. So again, it wouldn't for me to even look for a potential sell, I would want to see a break of support here. But till then, I'm just not into it. Again, could this continue to push down? I mean, obviously this can do anything, but especially off US 30, US 30 is very, very like sporadic, right? And it can just go crazy. So for me, it's just really being patient at this time. Like I said, right now it's just full bullish. Like I said, I was like 30 minutes ago, I was looking to take a sell just again, it was being impulsive, right? All this was kind of pushing down here. We're getting this push down here, like all this right here. But I had to remind myself that at the end of the day, like even if this does break this lower low, this is based off the M15, so I'd be counter trending based off the M15, especially even M15 is still bullish. We have this higher low, we have this higher high. So it doesn't really make sense for me personally to, again, this would be kind of, this would basically be like kind of the old me, right? Trading, just being impulsive and just hoping that this break of a higher low point here can then turn into like a big move, right? So it's not the case. At the end of the day, I gotta trade what I see. And currently, everything's just pointing out bullish, right? So it's kind of hard for me to fight that. Now, based off this entry here, if we do get this entry here, which we still have time, right? But again, I would really need to see this above here. If we can just get closure above here, M5. I don't want to go. I don't want to go M1 because M1 can be. Well, actually, now based off this time frame, we do have this lower high point here. Before it was this break here, but if we can just get this break here, this is a lower high point. Resistance, right? It's that resistance level. Based off all this time frame, based off all of this here, they're not even up and break. But nonetheless, right, this would be that here, which would be a damn, but they're not even at 38.2. Based off of M5. So we'd be breaking at 23.6 here. Breaking this 23.6 for above here. Straight up. I'm not sure if I would be open to entering if this were a break here on this time frame. That'd be 23.6, but this move isn't really correlated like that too much, and this would just be an engulfing, and we're still bullish. We're still bullish based off this time frame. This would go back to essentially I would have loved this right here. This move here, I would have loved this move here. And then based off the M5, have a break of resistance here. So this is what I can see. This is what I'm able to see, right? It's still just that level. Choices to make. All right, so this was that resistance here that we never really broke, and this is the resistance that is seen based off the M15, right? So at the end of the day, we still need to see this level as well being broken. This is would be bullish. Technically, okay, this is seen based off the M1. Let's move here. This would be this counter here. Boom, boom, boom. And the minute we kind of break this here, okay. So we did actually just go become bullish, right? Based off this time frame here. Obviously, this is that higher high. This is that higher low. Higher low. This is that higher high. These moves are correlated. Boom, boom. Which is basically here. That's still 23.6, but again, that move is not really cool. This is the isn't boom. So at the end of the day, this would be a 23.6 break if we did break this. So I'm still gonna go off this resistance here. So as long as we can at least break, we need to break this here based off the lower time frame, based off M1. This needs to be broken. One, boom, M15. So I'm not entering until I see at least a closure above here. This would also be that break of that counter trend line. Boom. Like I said, we're still bullish, right? We're still bullish on M15, so it still makes sense to basically be able to enter off this. So we can get this M15 closure above. If we can get an M5 candle above this resistance, that would be nice. Until then, those two, I can't enter a trade, right? So let's just look at the potential, right, of this here. If we were to enter this position, it would solely be stop loss would be underneath these. This is low. Let me go actually up which one. Maybe I can see now. Yeah, okay. So stop loss would be under this, out of this kind of like fluctuation zone. Out of that wick area. I don't want to see this can still pull back, do some type of liquidity grab or something like that. That I just don't want to be a part of. So down here, buy 0.2. We want to be risking 117. That is money that I'd be willing to risk. If we did it up here, let me tell you now, like, so there's no reason for that aggressive momentum like that. So this will be that entry here. Boom. Until then, we just simply don't take this trade. Like I said, even if we go sell, like I said, on this lower time frame, maybe it could be transitioning right to that like sell position or sell transition. But at the end of the day, it's like off H1, H4, everything's still bullish, right? So I'm not gonna put myself in that position, especially if off H1 I don't even have anything bearish. We do just have this little bearish push, but we don't have anything that says like sellers are truly, until we get at least a closure underneath the support. I can't say that sellers aren't really in control right now, you know. So we simply just wait off GU. GU is another position where I'm looking for a position to take based off this kind of here. Our position based off GU though mainly is very, very similar to what's happening on US 30. So US 30 is pretty much the same thing, right? Based off this time frame. We're kind of bearish here. We're still bearish. H1. We're a bit bullish. We got this higher low, we got this higher high. But this isn't really correlated, so I know it's not that real. But at the end of the day, we still have this higher low point. We still broke this resistance. I still want to see at least something bearish, right? We did get this bearish engulfing, cool. But if we go down to lower time frames, for me, we didn't really break like anything. We didn't break no support. We didn't break anything like that. We didn't do anything. You know what I mean? But we're still bearish. This is still a lower high point. This is still a lower low point based off the M15. So we are still getting bearish momentum. But just H1 is kind of what's kind of holding me up a little bit right now. Based off the fact that, yeah, we just don't have that. We just don't have that like momentum based off the H1. We are basically lower high, but just this here, this is what's kind of holding me up. Not sure if it should be, but like I said, at this point in time, I do want to be very, very patient, not just impulsive. So at the end of the day, I'm still going to try to wait for at least an H1 confirmation to let me know that, you know what, sellers are back in control, even if it's just because this is a higher low point here, right? So it's higher low, higher high, higher low. Again, I still want to see a break. This was a 23.6 here. Higher low, higher high, 23.6, higher low. So that's that, right? 15. It's pretty cold. It's cold in this house. So again, let's get this closure above here. We would want to see a candle here. With those two being bullish here. Because I feel confident with everything just being bullish. I feel really confident in this move here. But again, until we get those confirmations, we still got about 6 minutes left. Yeah, so until then, not much we can do. So GU is the same thing, right? I'm just waiting for something, some type of breakup support, something that lets me know that like we're in, right? Even this here, like this move here, okay, we can see this higher low, higher high. Like then it's just, I would want to, right? I would really want to. I was even thinking about getting in here, but it's just like it's hard, right? It's hard when just other time frames are in confluence, but or correlating, but just that one time frame is off. But like I said, it's not. Oh, I'm gonna go put on a shirt because I'm freaking cold. All right, so we are back. Looks like it's slowly starting to play out. That's all we need, bro. That's all we need. I mean, should we have about how much more time we got left? 5 minutes left. Okay. So we can just get a nice push, but a nice bullish push would be nice. Even if we do pull back a little bit, like say we create a bearish candle here, as long as we just get this closure above here, I'll be happy. And then based off M5, I'll just still wait for some type of bullish engulfing. But like I said, till then, it's just being this patient game now, right? It's not being impulsive. It's currently 5:11. So like I said, GU. These are currently my only two pairs at the moment. I didn't mark up any other pair. Like I said, we're still being patient, right? Like I said, H4 is still bearish. Like we're still bearish, but it's like I can't do nothing. Right? This isn't just a 23.6 break. Like it's nothing major, right? Like we didn't really break a full on resistance, but here's like for me, this is still a bullish trend, right? This is still a higher low. This is still a higher high to a certain extent. So I still want to see something that says bearish. Sellers are back in control, you know. But until then, it's like it's not really. Lower time frames did already kind of transition into that. So I'm gonna leave it at that, right? I'm not gonna do anything based off a GU. Meaning like I'm not gonna take a sell or anything like that until we at least get a closure right underneath here off the H1. US 30. Slowly retracing. So again, this is really being patient, right? It all looks like a nice little lower high point, nice little weak exhaustion. But it's just like, how can I can't, right? I'm not gonna just break my rules. I'm not gonna just be impulsive. If we miss the move, then we miss the move, right? And that's something that I gotta come back to, analyze, and be like, okay, why didn't I miss this? Could I have taken this? But like I said, as of right now, it's just not giving me that opportunity. We do have 46 minutes left. We're still within this candle here based off the H1, so we're still pretty early in this move. H4 is still 2 hours. So like I said, it's just being patient, right? Sucks. There's the hard part here. It's just really being patient, right? Because say this all does kind of like for me is like say that I've already been up on this computer for like 2-3 hours, right? So like all that work and basically just being wrong, or not just being wrong, but like not really, I don't know, not really. Yeah, like I said, just 2-3 hours. 2-3 hours that I'm just looking on the computer, and then all that just kind of be wrong. Ever miss out on the move, right? Not make no money. And that's kind of like the hardest part when it comes to day trading. But at the end of the day, it's like gotta be patient. Just gotta be patient and just wait for these setups to kind of happen. And being too patient, sometimes what happens, well, in my case, it's just like I overanalyze, right? So like while waiting for this whole setup, while like this whole 30-40 minutes, I was kind of overanalyzing, like, that, am I wrong? Should I have waited for a bit more? Should I have done a bit more? You know what I mean? So this is just like right now, I'm kind of just overanalyzing at this point. But it's hard, you know what I mean? I just want to be so sure, but sometimes it just makes me overthink when I overanalyze, right? Overthinking, so it's not that good. We're back in this tested level, 23.6, yeah. Like I said, I'm pretty sure, but I'm pretty confident in this position here. But we're just not going to do anything until we get our confirmations, right? And especially when it does stuff like this, this is what kills when it lags like this. But like I said, technically, we still don't have another, we're like an hour and 45 minutes until market opens. So it's nothing that we can really do at this moment, but just wait. It's just that simple. Like I said, we are at a 38.2. Based off the H1, right, we are at 38.2. So we are here at this level. Nice little confluence level of exhaustion. Like I said, everything just lines up, right? And you can tell there's going to be a big move here. There's going to be a move here, obviously, because of just how it usually does, right? Consolidates for a little bit, and there's usually a move to go along with this. But even based off M15, like we're still a bit bullish here. Even if we would have closed underneath here, would have been a big different story, right? But at this point in time, I just still see, even though we have this little lower high point here, this is why I want to see at least a closure above this here so that I can feel confident about this move, right? But again, just can't do nothing. We did break this here, so that's cool. That's good. But this was actually a 23.6, huh? If we do point A, point B, actually, no, we did break this here. This was a 38.2. We broke that. Yeah, it was here. I broke that, and now we kind of pushed through. Nice. Okay. So based off the M1, we've transitioned to more of a bearish state. So we're still waiting for kind of M5, right? M5 is kind of a bit tricky because it's it's kind of like boxy. It's pretty boxy. And what I mean by that, we have this higher low, we have this higher high. And then if you were to mark this off here, the support here, we don't really have a clean break, right? We obviously have bearish candles underneath it, but it wasn't like a momentum, right? We didn't break this, but then make a lower low. Like, it wasn't clean. Like, we broke through, consolidated, made a bearish candle, and then continued to consolidate at this point. So it just wasn't really clean, right? This whole entire move wasn't really clean. And consolidation is tricky, right? Consolidation is pretty tricky, just kind of understanding exactly where you are. But nonetheless, right, we're still bullish. That's the main thing that I can actually just put my hat on. That we're still bullish. That break even there wasn't even correlated. Wasn't even if this is were to be a lower low, right? Which I'm pretty sure just because again after all this, it's a lower low, lower high, lower low, we do come back, but we don't break this level here. So I would have wanted for sure to see a break. Then we come back here, close underneath here. Now we're closing up here. So now we are getting this lower high point of a break, but this is still resistance level. I still want to see a closure above here. I still want to see a candle above here. So yeah, so that's that. Simply just leaving it at that. Just about being patient. We either get this engulfing with the break of resistance on top, and we enter, or we just don't. It's just that simple. We already have our down. Do we not have our thing? Stop loss once again would be underneath here. Perfect. Take profit. Take profit would be off the H. It would honestly be based off the H4. We would be able to aim based off this level here. But I mean, honestly, like I said, we could even aim back up here. For sure, for sure. So you take profit. It would be somewhere like right here. All these like exhaustion wicks, all this right here. This would be essentially like my TP1. But like I said, because everything is so bullish, I wouldn't even want to put a TP. Because again, if you can keep going, we can keep going, right? So at the end of the day, it should have been about being patient. Simply just waiting this out. Looks like we can potentially get that move, but I thought that the last 2 or 3 candles, even here, like I said, I was so close on entering here, but like I said, I just can't remind myself, be patient, wait for that closure, right? Everything's closure because this is an active candle, right? This active candle right here just can do anything. So even if it goes a little bit, still have 8 minutes left. So this can easily push back down, push back up, stay in the middle. But a closed candle is a closed candle, right? Active candles and active candles. That simple. Oh damn, bro! This patient, being patient is super, super hard, especially based off just like all this is being patient, man. Being patient. like to say, patient pays. Patient pays. Boom, boom, boom. Now, patient pays. Patient pays. Like I said, one confluence is just this break of trend line right here. My second confluence that I just would have went away is just this closure above. My third would be a candle above to confirm this break of resistance. And from there on out, about 4 minutes left. So GU, we are pushing down. We are pushing down on GU. So like I said, even though we're not getting down, but I need again. It has to close above, but not only, even if this were to close above, I need a bullish candle above this line right here. If I can't get that, then simply just not in. If it closes above, but we still don't have a bullish candle, I gotta wait for that bullish candle to push above. Come on. No hesitation either. The last 2 previous days, I've hesitated with my entries. And both good entries. Like, they would have been good entries if I didn't hesitate. Because, I mean, they were both 2 good trades, but again, I was hesitant. All right, we got 39, 38 seconds. Doesn't look like we're gonna get it. We might not. It's gonna be a wick too. It's gonna be a wick. That's crazy. That is a bullish candle, but it's a freaking wick. Oh, dang. Damn, we didn't even get the push or the. It would be a profit. Damn. So that's exactly what happens when we hesitate again. All right, well, we just gapped like crazy. We literally gapped like crazy. Damn, so that's what happens. That is what happens. And we just shot up. Why did I hesitate? I said I wasn't gonna hesitate. And I did hesitate. I gotta have more confidence in myself. But there you go. And we still enter the trade. Still trade. Because we're still pushing up. Horrible entry again. I mean, but it is what it is. And like I said, now we have this huge stop loss, but and I was calling it too. I was literally calling it. If we would enter based off that closure, just boom, automatically we would just. I mean, this is pips. We're talking about pips. Damn near 100. I mean, that's what happens. So at this point in time, it's just all right, letting the trade play out. We do have our stop loss right here. This is what I mean by US 30 can just be so sporadic at times. You know what I mean? But again, I just gotta have more confidence in myself. I would have just inserted when I said I was gonna insert and just go based off that. And like it was just so quick. Like the reason why I hesitated was because of these wicks, right? These little wicks. It's hard to count them as candles sometimes. It's so hard to count them as candles, but they're still candles. But it's just so hard because there's not much volume, right? Like we need like a nice volume candle, but without that, it's like we don't. So based off this, we're just simply just holding this out now. So there's that. So I mean, yeah, stop loss is still a stop loss. Now I went from 100 and I think it was like 180, 190 stop loss, pip stop loss to now almost 400 stop loss. So again, that's what happens, But just gotta be more confident next time. Gotta be more confident. But nonetheless, like I said, this is still a trade. So this still has to play out like how I think it's gonna play out, right? And that's just continuing to go bullish at this point. It's not letting me load on next point. Like I said, we did aim for this area here. We want to see how this kind of plays out. Hopefully we can get a nice push. A nice push. Like I said, it's all bullish, bullish. That's just crazy. It's crazy. But yeah, so now we still have an hour. We got 25 minutes on this. This candle's not, this time frame is not loading. Time frame is not loading, but we still have about like an hour. An hour, I think, till that H4 candle closes. So it's really just letting this play out. So yeah, that was that trade right there. I don't think I'll be taking a position of GU. Might be wrong actually. So GU, actually I might be wrong. If this can close the way it's going to close here, like I said, essentially I would want a nice clean break. Based off H4. H4 is not loading. Why is not H4 not loading? So GU, okay, so GU H4 here. Perfect. Like I said, I did think about this trade here on this candle right here, taking this sell, right, which would have been nice, yeah, but this is 23.6. Like that's the thing that I needed. This is just a 23.6. Yeah, 23.6. So even this year would not have been a proper, like just based off the H1, would not have been a proper sell. Even though this is a 23.6 here as well. Candle here. I mean, yeah, but at the end of the day, that candle closed. So I'll still be open and taking a position, a sell position here. If this were to close, below this area here, nice closure. H4 also has 22 minutes left. We close with an engulfing, right? Those two correlate. Then I'll go down to M15, look for a sell position. But then the way this is looking is not looking so good. That would be the only way. Because yeah, at the end of the day, like I said, my confluences to taking a sell is just not there based off the H1, right? Like I said, for me, it's like I said, I just need, this is, H1's a big time frame for me. I mean, it's kind of like my main time frame for my lower time frames, if that makes sense. But so at the end of the day, it's like if that's not there, if that's not correlating, then at the end of the day, it's not. I just can't take it. If I miss out on the move, I miss out on the move, and that's something that I got to look back on and figure out. Maybe I missed something, maybe I didn't. But as of right now, I just don't see that. I just don't see me missing out on this. So yeah, even for this bullet, even looking for bullish wouldn't even really make too much sense. For the fact that even for a bullish move, I mean, it's the same thing we need. I would want to break a resistance here. Break this resistance, go to the upside. So if I do take a position on this, it would be a little bit later on today. So ideally, I'd be more into the sell. For buy opportunity, it's pretty much the same thing, right? This buy opportunity, closure above here. We need this lower high point, lower low point. So yeah, so even for a buy, I would need a closure above up here just to kind of tell me that buyers are in play. And then, like I said, US 30 currently. I don't know if you did see it, but the US 30 was up like 100 and something, 120. Now it's at 102. So like I said, a lot of potential. Like I said, it makes me so mad. It makes me so mad. Literally in this video, you can literally see me just again hesitate. That 1-2 seconds all it takes. I gotta get more confident. That's what happens. You know what I mean? Right now with this position that I took, I'm up 100. Imagine if I would have took it when I said I would, I could have been up 300, 400 almost, with a lot less risk. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, this is my position. So again, this 30 or H1 candle. You really want to see how this H1 candle closes, right? We want to see it close nice and strong. H4, we still got that hour 19 minutes left, so you can still get a valid push. This was my first TP. Like I said, my second TP was above here. So again, it's kind of at that. I don't want to close like very, very small. But again, if it starts to consolidate like this here, I mean, if it starts to consolidate like this based off like the M15, right? Just kind of consolidate based off these candles here. Then it's kind of, I might have to close out at the end of the day because that was kind of my first TP, you know what I mean? But again, it's my fault. I should have entered with a way better. Should have entered when I said I was going to enter. By now, it could have been up again a couple $100. So again, something that I'm going to have to look back on today and just kind of analyze. But at the end of the day, that's that trade. We'll see how it plays out. And yeah.